You're listening to Talking at a Slot, the podcast about having fun with toy cars. I'm Scott.
And I can't remember who I am. It's been too
You
long.
you look familiar, but there's
Yeah,
much less of you than there used to be. If I
it's
can
true.
say if I can say that, yes. Uh, so it probably segues quite nicely into what have you been doing since we last did a podcast?
Well, the surgery took, and I'm no longer Brenda.
Ah, straight into the cups. Jolly good. But seriously, Nick.
Yes. Well, as you may know, I'm still between jobs. I don't know how long that can last until I can stop saying I'm between jobs. Anyway, I'm a postman, which means that I'm walking about 15 miles a day, 6 days a week.
Not just
So
walking, though, are you? You are lugging. You are
Well, I,
man.
I have basically my round is three loops. It's it's a bit like a World Rally Championship event. A little service.
More interesting.
Uh, hey, now come on.
Yeah. Well,
There's it was central service. So we go out and do the first loop, which is through the middle of town with blocks of flats and stuff like that. And then the second one is the long one in terms of mileage. And this is pushing a trolley, by the way. So the trolley weighs 75 kilos and it can carry 75 kilos. So you're pushing 150 kilos at the start of the day. So that's the long route, which is not tower blocks, but it's houses. So it goes much further to cover the same number of dwellings. And then the last one is uphill, up a very big hill. So that's with a bag over my shoulder. Or if there's a lot of stuff, as there has been lately, then it's two bags on a little trolley.
okay. So,
Um,
but this is, I mean, us slot car buyers who, rejoice in the sight of a. I mean, we're not going to do an unboxing, but before you do every unboxing has
the
required
box must arrive.
must arrive. Someone like you has to turn up at the door with the box. So I think
Yes.
it's a crucial service as part of the slot car world. I'm not going to
It
ask.
is because there are other carriers that are not postmen, and they sort of drop kick it out the window as soon as they get in the right postcode. So wherever you find it, it's quite fun actually being a post person rather than being a delivery person, because the delivery people find the most unique places to put things where the recipients will never ever
Never
find them.
find it.
There's a block of flats on my walk which has got a big glass sort of sheet over the front door. It doesn't have a atrium or whatever. It's just got a piece of glass.
Mm-hmm.
And on there, I had to help the concierge to get a widescreen TV off this thing, which is 10 feet off the ground. Because that was the nominated safe place that the delivery people threw it out of the van.
Excellent. You wonder, yeah, that must have been quite. Yeah, how do you get? You go. How do you get? I mean, I know they're not as heavy as televisions used to be, but they're still not that light. That's pretty good. But we were talking earlier, and you mentioned that you've got a theory about why September. Sorry, is it September? You think it's
It's October
particularly
is busy. So I mean,
busy?
obviously, um, so when I started, it was the general election. So we had masses of paper being sent around by the parties about how green they are. um,
Just
then
one of the many lies we've found out. Yeah.
exactly that happened, and then school holidays were coming up, so people were ordering flip flops and sunscreen and whatever else, which we were delivering. And then it all went quiet, and it all stayed pretty quiet. We've got quite a few public schools around us, which are private schools in America. So, there were lots of kids who've been dropped off for the next 3 months that had forgotten their toothpaste and things. So there were a few things like that being posted to schools. But yeah, it was all quiet really until the beginning of October. Now, why is that, you ask? Well,
Why
I'll
is that?
tell you.
Why is that, Nick?
Basically, it's the Goldilocks month. It's the Goldilocks pay packet for retailers. And I've noticed the likes of Pendle Slot, other retailers are available, were hitting us pretty hard from the minute the kids went back to school all the way through September, with special offers here, there, and everywhere. Scalextric, of course, was doing the same. Everyone's at it because they know at the end of September, you've paid for the summer holidays and you haven't started buying stuff for Christmas yet. That is when your disposable income is at its little autumnal peak. So for the first 2.5, potentially 3 weeks of October, it has been a slog. And everyone's like, yeah, this happens. You think you've got it easy, and then suddenly October happens, and it's not Christmas. It's people having their own little Christmases before they have to go and spend money on Aunt Dora.
Okay. So I like the description of the Goldilocks month. For those who might not understand that, we probably should explain that it's just right. That's what it is.
Exactly.
And the Goldilocks month. So Earth is in the Goldilocks zone around the sun because it's not too cold, it's not too warm. September is the Goldilocks month. I helped a little. Not that you deliver my post. It would be quite handy if you did, because I see you for a cup of tea. But I had 3 cars from Pendle, and I said, no, do not deliver them by post. I shall drop in, because I happen to be in Scotland. As you know, I've been going up and down to Scotland quite a lot lately. And I thought I would break my journey on one of them by dropping in to Pendle, because although I've dealt with them and seen them at toy fairs and things for years, I've never been to the shop, the place. So I contacted Sean and said, it's okay if I drop in. He said, yeah, fine. So made my way there. It was chipping it down. It was one of those days when it was a biblical rain. But anyway, and I had a tour. They don't have a kind of showroom anymore because COVID kind of took place. People weren't coming out to look round, and the club isn't happening there anymore. But there's a big warehouse, and there's rooms where they develop the kits and the bots. So there's like rows and rows of bodies and rows of chassis and shelves of slot car stuff. And it was like the Dorset Horde on steroids, because whereas that was a double garage, floor to ceiling shelves, this is a warehouse. And you only have to look at Pendle's website to know that they stock everything. I mean, and it is amazing. Now, it wasn't supermarket sweet, because Sean was kind of talking to me as we went round, and we were chatting about the business, as we might call it, rather than the hobby. So yeah, I didn't take pictures or anything rude like that, so I can't share it with everybody. But yeah, fantastic, just stuff everywhere. And of course, in that situation, it's the oddball things that really stand out. So instead of the brand new Scalextrics or Revo slot or whatever, it's like the old thing you haven't seen for ages. You go, oh my god, there's one of those, or the new body that he was working on, or they were changing. So it was jolly good. I had a nice cup of tea and a very nice chat, and I picked up 3 cars which didn't trouble the postal service for once, which was quite good. But it was still a long way. I was still 5 hours from home. So
Yeah,
it's probably
in either direction, probably.
it's but I'm sure if it wasn't a biblical downpour, it's a very beautiful part of the country, because it's sort of Yorkshire and hills and dales and lots of farm country.
I did actually. It's almost 15 years to the day since I went to Pendle, and that was on a trip to Scotland as well, because I went up for Rally Scotland, which was the final round of the then Intercontinental Rally Challenge, what is now the European Rally Championship. And yeah, I would stop by. And of course, there was a showroom then, and there was a club track and everything else. And there was a Sean. So
not much has changed, yeah.
A Sean who took some money from me. Yeah. And I was actually there with somebody who thought slot cars were terribly sad and awful and geeky. And then he came in the shop and he was like, oh, wow. So yeah, he didn't actually buy a set in the end, but I'm sure that to this day he remembers the beauty of a wall of fly GT cars, etc. So
the beauty of a wall of fly is almost an album title. That's very niche.
By Harry Spink and the Spinkettes.
Yes, with tracks like fucking gear. Sorry, yes. I have to believe.
Hold on, we're back and we're R-rated.
Back on gear mesh. I have a soft spot for Fly Renault 5 turbos. I think it's a perfectly reasonable thing to have a soft spot for.
Yeah.
Anyway, the old ones, beautiful, all run smoothly, fantastically. The more recent ones, it's like SCX of old. It's like that one runs okay, this one barely runs at all, that one is like a coffee grinder because the gears just don't mesh properly. And it's very annoying because they used to do it better and they don't do it now. So do it better, Fly. I'm not buying any more flat. I'm going to try and not buy any more.
Yes, my my 555 Audi Quattros still haven't moved because they can't. Because they've got two lots of stuck gears per car.
Static was that saying was quite nice. While we were away on our summer break,
longest summer in history.
Summer. It may have been some time since the last episode, folks, but still available at all good podcast outlets.
I had a Beach Boys greatest hits album called Endless Summer. I think I should have been playing that the whole time.
Wouldn't it? No, don't sing, Scott. Don't sing. Think of the copyright. I say it wasn't in tune enough to be recognised by a bot, so it's okay. Anyway, I had a plain red Ferrari GT car from Carrera many years ago, probably 20 years ago. And I bought a decal kit because you decal away furiously, as we know. I've never decaled a slot car. Again, is decaling a verb like that? To decal, I decal, you decal.
These days, it's all, very much, we're androgynous when it comes to verbs and nouns.
Decaling. And so I bought some, and I was a little perturbed to find out that unlike, plastic kits, so to be an Airfix, where you can cut round them, and then it's, the bit of paper can be roughly the shape and the decal slides off and it's nice and crisp. You have to absolutely cut along the edge because there's no separate sort of sticky bit. Anyway, once I'd conquered that. So I took a very pleasant hour or two or more doing this up, and I took it out to the track and it did about 2 laps and then stopped working. So whatever I did, I've now created a very nice Ferrari.
Very heavy decals.
No, they're not heavy at all, actually, but they're very, very thin. But it sort of looks quite nice, but it's now a static model, so I haven't, in a fit of pique, I haven't bothered even opening it up to find out why. So that was kind of one,
I like that. I finished those BRMs. Did we ever sort of get to the end of the BRM story?
Of course, yes. Recap for new listeners, like they do at the beginning of Netflix shows.
Exactly. Well, what happened last time was I was busily engaged in building BRM 124 scale Group 6 sports cars, the Porsche 917K and the Ferrari 512M kits, which slot32.de has now done a whole range of decal sets for, and he sells paints as well. So I was building and painting these white kits up, and you can only buy the decals with the white kits.
Okay.
You can't buy decals separately.
Oh,
you have to buy
a
white kit with the decals. But there's quite a range. So I did 3 Porsche 917s. I did a green Sandeman one from Watkins Glen in 71. I did a white and blue, I think that was a Sebring car. So the works white with
Austria
blue streaks. And then there was another one. The blue and white, the Targa Florio car. So I did the Targa Florio. It was only in the test. Nobody was actually going to race it round Corsica. So it's not Corsica, is it Sicily? If they were in Corsica, they'd have been lost
somewhere in the Mediterranean.
And then I did 2 Ferrari 512s, one being yellow and one being red with a gold stripe down the middle, and Churchill's Pub sponsoring it, which I just love, from Daytona in 71.
Pub sponsored slot cars is a pretty niche collecting theme, isn't it? That would be
that pub is actually still in New York. It's a sort of Irish. No, it's a British pub in New York. It's still there. But you can just imagine the Ferrari brand team now, if they produced this beautiful hypercar, the cost of many tens of millions, and then the first team that gets their hands on it, first race of the year, goes, "Yeah, we're sponsored by the pub in New York."
Well, yeah, I suppose it depends.
But what about the brand values?
We never worry about the brand values when they Moulin Rouge and all that sort of stuff, weren't they? So,
Quite.
but
Quite.
that was in the good old days. And those all got finished and dispatched back to Germany.
Via Sean.
Right. Okay, I see the link now. Yep, I'm right. Yes.
So they got sent to Pendle because Pendle and slot32.de, or Luke and Sean, are very old friends, and they do send a lot of stuff to each other because obviously in these post-Brexit days there's carnets and stuff to be dealt with, so they can do all that themselves between them. And it saves me having to do it.
Yep, no, that's good.
So it was lovely, and those cars are beautiful.
Did you run them at any point, or did you just paint them? Did you put them on a track?
And actually, in kit form, they don't really run. You have to sort of adjust everything a lot. And I wasn't going to get involved in that. I'm just painter and decorator, me. So I just painted them and I decorated them and I set them off.
Well, there are those who say that you have to kind of set things up because it's a hobby, which I think is nonsense. These things should work out of the box.
For 100 and whatever they are.
For 100, yeah. I mean, if it's a kit and you have to build it, okay, it should go together and then it should work. I shouldn't have to tune it. But you know me in tuning. Don't get me going on tuning. It was the Worthing Slot Rally, Autumn Stages Slot Rally last night, and getting one of the stages was made up of Scalextric's classics, so the really old stuff. And you forget how awful that track is, particularly from a conductivity point of view. So we were doing that old-fashioned nostalgic thing of chasing the dead bits round and trying to get bits of metal bent so they join together. Anyway, somebody, I think it was Mike, produced a little bottle of exotically coloured liquid with a pointy thing on it and put it on braids, and I don't know. And I said, whoa, what are you doing? He said, this is, this does. I said, it's tuning. I don't want lubricated braids. Anyway, apparently, there's some magical, to me, material, which you kind of spread round, and it helps suppress sparking.
Oxy, it's called, isn't it?
Something like that, yeah. And I thought, how does that work? So, answers on a postcard. You put a liquid on something electrical, and you think, because if it suppresses sparking, it would make the conductivity worse, but apparently not. I've never understood electricity, which is why I don't tune slot cars. Anyway, jolly good fun.
Ferrari stopped working.
That's why my Ferrari stopped working. But I took with me, because I quite like running quirky stuff, because everybody tries to win. So as well as the inevitable polycar thing, I thought, what can I take? What can I take that's not been in? And lurking in the corner was this, which hopefully is. Hang on, I've got a thing pop up on the screen, so I want it to disappear. This is a G slot Yaris. So it's basically as close to a toy car as you're going to get. It's blacked out windows, very simple frame, tiny gear. Was it going to focus on it? Maybe not. You've fallen
foul of the homologation people already, because it doesn't have an interior.
It doesn't have it, but you can't tell. So that's I think so you can't see whether it's got a co-driver or not. So there's
Red Bull should try that excuse.
Yeah,
they're up and down in bib, but somebody can't tell it's moving.
But the livery, which is an authentic livery part, this was Gareth, my friend Gareth Jex, when he was madly collecting only rally cars, got one of these, created the decals, and made some Spanish club class rally car out of it. Anyway, I fell foul of the fact that some of the stages were Ninko, and the guide, which definitely won't show up on the video, is a sort of lozenge shape. So it's pointy at the front and pointy at the back, but it's a bit fat in the middle, like me. And it just kept wedging in all the Ninko joins. So I didn't get to enter my very cheap and cheerful Yaris. I mean, it would have come last, but it would have been fun. So it was a fun evening. It was a good evening. It was
very nice too.
Yeah, it was all right. I'm just checking the time.
We, of course, have got Slot Rally happening in Farnborough Park, for which Lawrence has been very busy building an stage, unlike almost any other, I think, because it's really, really long. He's built a 1/32 scale runway.
How long is it? That's not a question I get to ask men openly very often.
Well, in Lawrence's case, I really wouldn't know to say.
Has he laid it out before anyone?
He did last night, apparently, but I wasn't there because
Damn.
I've only been to the club once in the last 6 months when I won, but Alec wasn't there, so it's not been recorded. It's not in the club's Facebook page.
Oh, it's on here now, though. It's just it's
And-
even better. It's
Yeah,
on,
exactly.
it's going to be
4
on YouTube.
people
Yeah.
rather than the 3 that tune into the Farnborough Park Facebook page.
Well, you say that, and I'll just a little sidebar here. It's been very, I think, touching and encouraging. Is that in the time that we've not been doing this,
Have you been getting touched?
A number of the audience, or members of the audience, have got in touch and said, "Are you ever doing any more?" I took it to mean they wanted us to do more, rather than they were just checking. We would never do this again.
Can we confirm it's safe to go back on the internet?
Well, anyway, to those of you, there was. I'm going to say a number. I wouldn't need both hands, but it was a number who got in touch to say, "Please do more. We miss it." So thank you for that. Even if it wasn't true, thank you for that. Anyway, so tell us more about Lawrence's long thing.
It's just very, very long, and it's sort of quite straight on one side, and then you have to twiddle in and out of bits on the other, like an airfield stage is.
Well, I'll try and get pictures to put up, but he's painting pictures with words as if it was radio and all that. So there is he's painted the runway, a tarmacy bit, and then there's kind of off-field bits, and the cars
It's
go
got
round.
all your little variations and your scenes and all that sort of stuff. And he's put all the lights in, so it's got lots of airfield lights around the place, which he's been rampantly buying up all the LEDs that are available from Amazon, and then there he goes. So he's very happy with it. It's totally different to any of the other stages, which is the point, basically, because the quick boys are all Welsh, and the Welsh boys like their R1 turns and sharper. So this is, us Southern softies are going to build a track which
very
is
fast
totally alien,
very
totally
fast.
alien to people who are Welsh.
It's flat and not twisty.
It's just a desperate attempt for Southern softies to score some points.
To score
basically.
some points. Seems fair enough.
Yeah.
Seems fair enough.
So that's been done. And I still haven't finished my cars, which obviously I was planning to do the full season this year and haven't. But like all my cars, including my road car, there's just bits everywhere, and me going, damn, I need to finish that. Particularly now that the weather's closing in, and I need to transport myself through grotty weather.
But that segues nicely, because your most recent slot car purchase, if I can put it that way,
one and only since we were last on the air.
It's
I've
actually
been selling them, but now for £5.75 English pence.
And people say it's an expensive hobby. Yeah, there we go.
I know. It is a green Ninko Mini Cooper. The reason for this is, of course, that my road car is a green Mini Cooper, which used to have a Union Jack on the roof. Now, my car's 2005. And I think around about 2012, when it changed hands for the first time, the person who then bought it stuck an aftermarket Union flag on the roof. And by the time I got it in 2023, the red sections had all faded to white.
Okay, not even pink, but white.
Not pink, white. In fact, the white of the red parts of the flag was whiter than the white paint used on the roof. So it looked very odd with just blue triangles on the roof. So I thought, well, that's not a problem, because I don't think actually the flag looks as good on a green one as it does on a blue one. I'll get rid of the flag. So it's taken months to get rid of the vinyl, because although it was cheap and horrible and faded, it stuck on like a limpet. So it needed a heat gun and a scraper to get the actual vinyl off. And since then, I've been polishing away like mad with first WD-40 and now lighter fluid to get the glue off. It was tempting at times just to go. Anyway, the glue is now 96% off, and it has put a few scrapes and dings in the roof, which this won't have but anyway, it's now flagless. And I just wanted a little one like it, basically, because I love
It's
it.
it's quite nice to have a slot car of your own car, as it were.
Yes.
Yes, I
Yeah.
mean, I'm going to struggle given that I've got a Corolla, but that's. But if only I had a Yaris again, because have you seen the SCX WRC Yaris?
Seen it, not in the flesh. I've
Mm,
got two resin kits. One of um, the first generation one with the big scoops on the side, and now the second generation one uh, with the sort of gauze on the side instead of a scoop, which are very nice but very heavy. So they won't be competitive. And also, once you've built a resin thing with sticky out bits on it, you don't really want to run it
No,
competitively.
no, no. These. I mean, I was quite excited about this anyway, and I'm judging from one Spanish video, so it's very much second hand in that sense. But it's apparently it's not that light. It's a little bit wider than the Focus. Not the Focus. What's the Ford called? The Puma.
Yeah.
And initially I thought, that's not good. So they've obviously kind of upscaled it a little bit. But then you think, well, that's what SRC do, isn't it? Everything's a little bit wide. So it'd probably be more
SCX has
competitive.
always been not a little bit different to Scalextric. We put an SCX Sierra next to a Scalextric one, and you go,
Yeah, that's true.
it's a
That's
bit
true.
low.
Anyway, I'm still looking forward to that. But I don't know when they're coming to here. This was obviously an early one, but it certainly won't be in time for next
Well, we've
week's
both got
rally.
Hyundais, which are obviously WRCs and
Hyundai.
not
Yeah.
Rally Ones, but
Mm.
they're decent little runners.
Yeah, the Puma is faster. Well, I mean, just because it's newer, I don't know, but my Puma is faster than the Hyundai. Um, so we'll see. Yeah. What did well, given that I was thwarted from running my Yaris in modern, I don't know what now. I'll have to find something equally quirky.
Well, I've got two more of these. I've got a yellow one and a different coloured one, and there is actually a national rally championship for the R50, and which is the first generation BMW Mini. Um, so I might well just put some decals on one of those. I'm not sure that with the this comes with the NC2 motor. I think they all did. That might be a little bit much for a little car with no suspension. Um, so maybe get some adapters and put the lower powered Ninko motor in it.
Just turn the power down. So yeah, we probably should talk about Scalextric third splurge, third
Yep.
launch, third tranche of
I've
new
just
releases.
totted up in the break just now.
You're giving away the secrets. You're giving away the secrets.
I know. Well, it's all these special effects. The CGI has just happened on the show. And whilst that building was blowing up, I was counting how many Scalextric cars I actually want from this year's range, and it's 12.
Oh, that's it.
I'm not going to
Margate
lie,
saved.
12.
Margate
Well,
saved
I've
single-handedly.
got the trinity of mobile touring cars. There's a Sierra, a Holden, and a Rover.
Hmm.
There's the Cheaty Steve Soper BTCC Rover.
Oh no, no,
BX
it was only a tiny little thing that was wrong, and I'm not talking about Steve. Yeah.
The Valiant Porsche 911, 934, whatever.
Yes. Yeah.
Richard Lloyd Golf, definitely. Loved that when I was a nipper. The
Uh-huh.
Escort that you've got and broken. 89 Batmobile. And then 3 Formula One cars, a BRM stack pipe. The thing is, when am I ever going to use the BRM stack pipe? I'm never going to use it, am
It
I?
looks nice though. It looks nice.
Ditto the Mansell Williams because the guide is behind the rear wheels or somewhere stupid like that.
No, the Williams is
And
okay. It's the Lotus 79 that the guide's behind the river. The Williams is fine.
the Lauda BT46 non
Non-fan.
fan. Yeah.
The unsucky one.
Politica.
Pretty and an Inspector Morse Jaguar, surely.
And an Inspector Morse Jaguar, which is that's 13. And then there's the Carrera NASCARs. So
We haven't mentioned those. Before we go on to Carrera NASCARs, though, I think totaling up the three announcements, there's a lot of cars, and I know a lot of people go, "Oh, I don't like this. I don't like these film things," or something like that. you've just said, well, that's like 12, 13 cars out of there. So in producing a lot of different models, they seem to be appealing to a lot of different people for different reasons, and that can't be a bad thing. Um, we could do a program on it on its own. I mean, I think the parent company are having a hard time. The recent financial results were out, and it's the brief the brief visit to profitability that was the post-COVID lockdown bonanza. They're carrying a lot of stock, both across everything, railways, whatever. And I'm no doubt that is at least partly why we're seeing so many
A lot
offers.
less stock than they were carrying last month before the Goldilocks paychecks came in.
But I'm sure that's a big part of why there's all these offers. Buy a car, get one free. Not quite, but
yeah, I mean, out of those 13 cars that I want, only 3 of them are new cars for this year.
new moldings, new liveries, yeah.
And the rest of it's 10 liveries and 3 new models. So
that's all right though. That's okay. That's not too bad.
Speaking of new models, by the way,
yes,
having not partaken of much in the slot racing world, including Slot Forum of late, having gone back on there, oh my word, it was kicking off nasty there. Let me tell you.
Nothing, whatever's new, that's all I can say.
Do you know what it was?
People
the scandal.
People taking toy cars too seriously.
Well, there is that, but the Mr. Slot Car, MR Slot Car, Corvette.
The one with the ground effect skirts. Is that the one we're talking about?
Yes. I mean, yeah. I mean, there is. They've sort of done to the Corvette what Scalextric did to the Ford Capri, which caused me such high dudgeon a couple of years ago. My dudgeon was raised to unexpected levels by what they did to the Ford Capri, and would you believe it? They've only gone and done it in Canada to the blooming Corvette, of all things.
Wait till they see the Ferrari, that's all, yeah.
So, yeah, with the exhaust pipe that sort of should be halfway up the side of the wheel, sort of level with the centre of the hub, and it's right down Turtle's Weskid.
Yeah. Yes, but this is the whole thing about the accuracy of... There's a whole other programme, but the brief synopsis is we get very worried about the accuracy of the model, both dimensionally and livery-wise. Yes. And then we drive them round corners at a scale 400 miles an hour, even without a magnet. So I'm interested in where our fascination and fussiness about about accuracy, and I'm as guilty of it. You get really fussy, I'm not buying that because it's not quite accurate enough. Let me go and race it down this straight at faster than the scale speed of light, because if we did run cars at scale speed with scale sticky tires, basically a non-magnet car on Carrera or Scalextric Sport, that would be authentic, sort of teetering round the corners and slithering down the streets, but we don't. Anyway,
but there's been much rocketry being thrown across the Atlantic from our Canadian cousins.
Oh right, are they defending this, are they?
Oh, yes. I mean, Ernie's a lovely guy. And we all know Ernie's a lovely guy. And we all know he's Canadian. And Canada loves a lovely guy. And if you say that your lovely guy's stuff isn't quite what it should be, you're going to get in trouble. So...
are the Mounties coming for them?
They're certainly coming for Pedro.
I see. I have to be honest, I haven't been on Slot Forum for a while. So
he's just popped up like a little,
and done what he does.
Done the Pedro thing.
He's done the Pedro thing. Jolly good. Hello, Pedro. Anyway, that's probably as good a place as any. So, having been away for a while, I think we can conclude nothing much has changed. There are new cars. There are cars which don't work quite as well as they should do. Cars which are very exciting. And Pedro's upset some people on Slot Forum. Seems fine. Absolutely fine.
I haven't bothered coming back, really. I mean...
We should what we should have done is run some repeats like they do, before the second season, another chance to watch. No, don't want it. Anyway, don't know when we're going to do the next one, but we'll see. As you heard at the beginning of the programme, at least one of us has got a job, and that's Nick. So he's not quite as available. to do mad podcasts.
But if anyone else wants to take it, please do.
Doing one job. It's done you the world of good. I mean, you're in all the best senses, you're half the man you used to be.
Well, yeah, there is that, but yes, there's ways and ways of doing it.
Yeah, you're looking forward to not being. Nah, you'll be fine. Christmas, I think in the interests of reporting back from the Christmas front line, I think you've got to get through Christmas. Christmas as a postman could be very interesting.
Interesting is not the word I would use, particularly not when we've got on my round. I've got a hermit who's got this drive which hasn't been kept clean, so it's covered in moss, and it's on a vertical hill.
All right, so ice skating in the summer.
Exactly. Yeah. Even morning dew sends you skittering.
That's it. Yeah. You're tickling my guilty conscience there because my drive is a little bit slippy. It's not been as demossed as it may well be. I need more visitors. Whatever is keeping them from my door.
Having a post round and not having a car. Not having a car that works anyway.
Right, we West go. Thank you for listening. Hopefully you're glad to hear us back. It's been fun doing it as ever, and we'll see you all soon. We won't see you at all because the camera doesn't work that way, but you might see us soon.
Which is quite scary, really, isn't it?
Well, yeah, but some people like us. Not many, but some do.
I like to look.
No. That's the whole other website. Right.
Oh,
bye.
yeah, sorry.
Bye.